Okay, welcome to the latest session of a Tea Time with God, an adult Christian education ministry of the United Church of Christ. As always, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to reach out either as a comment on the YouTube or the replay, or email me at jogrebe@gmail.com. And of those of you on the replay, and realize that you're not in any way of a second class of a citizen. Actually, you're the majority of the class, and I'm really impressed by how of the large this has become. So I thank you for your ongoing of the support there, and as a result of your faithful following in the future, all of the adult Sunday school classes that I teach at the Wentz's will be a dual format with the replays, as you've taught me that there's a lot more interest. That it's just the schedule and the availability is what's keeping people away. Okay, this week's topic is a smarter smartphone spirituality. In recent years, smartphones have become the center of an ongoing debate around technology in modern society, and if it has been more of a blessing or a curse. Many people will point out how smartphones are well-designed, multi-purpose devices, which replace the need for owning numerous devices in order to accomplish the same number of tasks as a bit of an electronic Swiss Army knife of sorts. Others will point out how they seem to encourage addictive behavior among some people, especially those of younger generations, when coupled with social media and video game apps. At the most ludite extreme, some have gone on to claim that smartphones have destroyed an entire generation of our youth. Personally, as one who holds an undergraduate degree in computer science, I say that a smartphone is simply a tool in the form of a pocket-sized computer. Thus, like any tool, smartphones are morally neutral, in the sense that smartphones are no different than a Bible. When used well, a Bible can help bring us closer to God, but when misused, a Bible can be used to justify violence and abuse, along with being physically used as a weapon to hurt or even kill people, especially if it's a massive pulpit-sized hardcover Bible. But the good news is that with the proper mindset and apps, a smartphone can be used in a way that helps nurture your spiritual life. I will start by saying that I am blessed with my age to have a unique view of computers and the internet. I was born into the disputed boundary between Generation X and the millennial generations, in what some actually argue should be considered a mini generation of its own. As we came of age during the computer and internet of the revolution, when I was in elementary school, I used a mechanical typewriter at school in the typing room to type my papers. In high school, I used WordPerfect on a Windows 95 computer in the school computer lab to type my papers. While in college, I was blessed by the rise of affordable digital cameras that could produce photo quality 8x10 prints. So we were blessed with more pictures of our college years than any previous generations. At the same time, we were also blessed by digital cameras still being too big to carry around all the time, and it being before the rise of social media. Literally, Facebook was founded the year after I graduated college. So in many ways, I feel that I made it out just in time, as cameras as everyday carry and social media greatly complicated an already complicated student social life situation. My first pocket-sized computer device was a Palm Pilot, which, unlike smartphones, did not have any network support and had to be synced with a computer using a wire. Palm Pilots were of the era of PDAs, or personal digital assistants, which were designed to help with personal data management and the productivity. Looking back, I was also blessed for my first smartphone to have been a Windows phone and not an Apple iPhone or Android smartphone. At the time, I did not even feel the need for a smartphone, but my parents thought that it was time to update the family cell phone plan to smartphones. So the only choice that I had in the matter was to take the free Windows phone with the plan or pay the difference between the plan's phone allowance and the phone of my choice. Sadly, Windows phones did not survive in the marketplace as they were well designed with a productivity of the perspective, which included Microsoft Word and a lovely lack of the most trending game apps and limited social media support, while still having a higher quality camera than most smartphones at the time. Thus, my gradual introduction to pocket-sized computers during the blooming of the information age made it easier for me to learn how to better make use of the newer technology and avoid the common pitfalls. Likewise, my longer-term perspective of watching the technology come to birth allowed me to watch firsthand as companies transform computers from being primarily tools to do useful work to becoming primarily media consumption devices to generate cash streams from the masses, which brings us to where we are of the today, where it's often said that we now live in an attention-based economy. Businesses are literally spending millions, if not billions of dollars every year to hijack our attention. This makes it even more important as Christians for us to be more attentive to what we are paying attention to. Marketing works by directing our attention to certain goods and services, as it is known that the more certain goods and services enter our minds, the more likely we are to spend money on them. Other marketing and media influence, or possibly more accurately called propaganda, is aimed at attempting to influence us to think in and possibly vote in a way that benefits the business or organization paying for it the most. This is not to say that all news and media is evil, but that it contains some bias, both in what is included and what is not included. This bias may or may not be in our best interest. Therefore, as Christians, we cannot afford to blindly let the companies, organizations, and political parties of the world influence and direct our attentions and thoughts, as we are already called by God to focus upon our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for our sense of purpose and direction in the Word. The best way to control your smartphone instead of allowing your smartphone to control you is to be selective in what apps you install. For me, that means making sure there was at least one, if not more, Bible apps on my phone. Truth be told, Bible software was the main reason why I bought a Palm Pilot in the first place, as their new 8 megabyte memory model at the time meant that it could hold the entire Bible. This was great, not only for the quick reference, but also to be able to run searches on the text. At the time, I loved being able to retire my small pocket Bible in the King James Version for a Palm Pilot with a Bible app. Bible apps are today's versions of the pocket Bibles of previous generations as a valuable part of a Christian's everyday carry. Just unlike physical pocket Bibles, they offer a wide range of Bible translations, are easier to read with an adjustable font size, and many of them are free. For many of us, taking out our phones is the potential default option during small pockets of time throughout the day. So pulling out the Bible is never a bad choice during these times, be it a physical Bible pocket or a Bible app on your phone. And unlike a physical pocket Bible, some Bible apps also include audio Bibles, which allows you to listen to them during times which you are not able to safely read, such as when driving. In fact, I am sure that one could easily read through the entire Bible on their phone if it becomes their default waiting activity. That was my experience upon getting my Windows phone years ago, as I conducted a personal experiment of making my new NRSV Bible on the phone my primary Bible for a year. Even though I now personally prefer a physical single column paragraph Bible, I will admit that I never read through the entire Bible as quickly as I did on my new Windows phone, a feat that was even more impressive as the NRSV Bible in the app contained not only the Old and New Testaments, but also the Apocrypha. Since the rise of smartphones, they have quickly become the primary devices used by people to access social media. Social media is another big issue, which is often coupled with smartphones, if not rivals them, when it comes to their potential harmful effects on society. At the same time, this does not mean that it's not possible for us to hack our social media feeds to our benefit. The best question to ask when it comes to social media, along with most things in life, is if it gives us life or takes away life. By gives us life, I'm talking about the things that make our life richer, more worthwhile, in that they uplift us and help give us a sense of purpose, as compared to takes life away in referring to things that bring us down, distract us away from more important things, or invokes feelings of anger, inadequacy, and or sadness in us. Some social media sites may be more positive than others in general, but ultimately it all comes down to how you engage with it and who you follow. I personally know of a handful of people that either removed all social media apps from their phone to only access it on computers, or to completely stopped using social media because they were finding it, and especially the fights on it, too toxic and draining. If you feel this way and can get away with it, and get away with the deleting it, and then give it a try, and you will likely be better off as a result. Others are trapped on social media due to the groups and organizations that they are a part of, using things like Facebook groups and pages as their main form of communications, and or their duties include updating them, such as in my case, as I am the main administrator of Wentz's Church Facebook page, and unfortunately, I need to keep an eye on it due to the handful of times I was forced to impose censorship on trolls, such as the time that someone literally accused us of being a Church of Satanists on one occasion because they did not approve of our Halloween-themed Creep It Real drive-through haunted cemetery food drive to the support a local food pantry. As much as we may want to only follow people that are positive and give us life on social media, there are often certain people that frequently post negative and upsetting material on Facebook that we are not able to get away with unfriending or the not accepting their friend request, such as one's boss and close family members. But not to worry, as the unfollow button is your new best friend, as it allows you to not see the material anymore, and they will not be able to tell that you muted them. Personally, that is why Instagram is my favorite social media app, as it is interest-based, thus no expectation to follow people back that follow you. Although I do not post that often, I have a carefully built social media feed that only shows updates from positive people that I care about, images of things that I am passionate about, find beautiful, uplifting, and inspire me as a Christian. This is a very personal process, depending upon what is right for you, should you choose to remain on social media. The increased role that smartphones and computers in general have in our lives makes it more important for us to engage in other activities away from technology in our lives. Computers and smartphones only engage a small subset of our bodies, so it's no wonder why these limited and repetitive motions are given rise in cases of injuries such as carpal tunnel syndrome. Just like how COVID-19 served as a powerful demonstration that we are not meant to live our lives through screens and keyboards, through all the mental and spiritual suffering it has caused over the past few years. As wonderful as the development of computers and the internet have been, they are very shallow compared to the wider creation of the Word by God. According to Genesis, as being created in the image of God, we are called to be the caretakers of the created order and co-creators with God. Healthy co-creators work alongside and within God's existing creation and often take inspiration from it, as compared to attempting to create an alternative to it. In today's increasingly technology-oriented world, that makes the arts, and especially music, more important. God is the original artist, as is seen in the beauty of the word and wider cosmos, and not just in the landscapes and plants, but also in the forms and figures of all the animals and the human body. At its core, most arts seek to capture natural beauty, interpreting an image or experience within God's of the creation for inspiration, memory, or sharing with others. Thus, the creation of drawings, poetry, and songs. Technology in the arts has been a mixed blessing in the modern world, as it both gives rise to new art forms and mediums, such as photography, recorded music, and video. However, the dark side is that it often makes us think less of our own abilities as a result, given the rise of professionals in our society, thus making us shy to even attempt art and music in private, let alone share them with others. This is the root of the feelings that many of us have that I can't draw or I can't sing. It is not that you can't, but that you are comparing yourselves to a heavily edited and remix a recording where artificial perfection was achieved that is impossible to achieve naturally with your voice or musical instrument. Just like many pastors and church music directors have pointed out that the Bible only tells us to make a joyful noise that not sound good in Psalm 98, 4-6. Make a joyful noise to the Yahweh or the earth. Burst out and sing for joy. Yes, sing praises. Sing praises to Yahweh with the harp, and with the harp and the voice of melody, with trumpets and the sound of ram's horn. Make a joyful noise before the King, Yahweh. Christian music is not about perfection and performance, but in finding joy and fellowship with God and one another, in praising God. During times of worship, music practice, and rehearsals, which with a proper mindset are indeed acts of prayer and worship. Not to mention that just like any art, one gets better with time, so you should never hold back out of fear that you won't be good. As the truth of the matter is that you will not be good at first, but that does not matter if it brings you joy, as unless it brings you joy, there was almost zero chance that you will be able to stick with it long enough to become good. Not that the goal is to become good, let alone make it to the professional level, but to bring yourself, God, and those around you joy in the church community. Personally, that was my mindset of around the small Celtic lap harp that I picked up during the COVID-19 pandemic, as I always enjoyed simple and common harp music and thought it would be nice to someday pick up a harp and learn how to play it. Realistically, I am more limited as the ADASPA necrosis in my joints limit how much I can play without hurting myself. And I likely have the music dyslexia for my complete lack of progress in reading music without having to manually count the lines. Not that it matters, as the mindset of the harp is to play for fun. So it's not like I am taking a graded music class where I am expected to make progress at a minimum pace and they're not allowed to write alternative music notation or harp tablature between the lines of the sheet music. My mindset of the harp is for fun, with zero desire for serious performance, but I am open to playing in church when I reach that point. Depending upon how things go, I may be up to potentially upgrading to a 22-string Irish Celtic of a lever harp in the future, which is the largest harp that I have an interest in. But even if I don't, there was nothing wrong with continuing to use my simple 12-string harp. After all, if King David, the great psalmist of Israel, after God's own heart, had a 10-string harp there, nobody should be shamed for having a 12-string harp. Personally, I believe that the ability to casually create and share art is one of the reasons why Instagram has become so popular, as Instagram allows one to take casual smartphone pictures and share them with others, be it as simple as how the morning light through the window shines through your glass mug of tea, as well as nothing that will ever hang in the art museum. It is still important, as it was a little bit of everyday beauty that you were able to capture and take a picture of. The same goes for pausing to snap a few pictures of the beauty of nature, when we are blessed with the opportunity to walk outside. Personally, I find nature photography to be an enjoyable hobby and a way to experience the wonders of God, as I find looking for the good photo opportunities forces me to pay attention to the natural beauty around me in the moment. I capture the pictures both to testify to the beauty of God's creation and to post some online to share with others. as I realize that not everybody can visit the places I have been to, nor is everyone physically able to get to the places that I have been. In the same way, I enjoy the nature photography of others posted online, especially of the ones that are from places in the world that I realize that more likely than not, I will never visit or are clearly beyond my physical ability to reach given my avascular necrosis-based limitations. The same smartphone photography as a casual art for fun that can also be found in adult coloring books, as they offer an opportunity to spend time experiencing the joy of creating art without concern of how good it looks, as the emphasis is not upon creating something to share, but for the simple joy and satisfaction that comes from transforming a blank page with lines and filling it up with colors to see it transformed before your eyes through the work of your hands. This is the essence of the beauty of the arts and the life of the Christian. It does not matter what you do, be it crochet, clothing making, gardening, knitting, leatherwork, painting, or the wood carving. All that matters is that it brings you joy. If it can add beauty or functional items or food to bless the lives of others, that is a bonus, not a requirement.
That was like relaxing just listening to some of the options of bringing joy, especially through music, but not having to have the pressure of performing. I like what you said about that. Just the title of this section, Smartphone Spirituality, is a great title. Of course, the message of does it give us life or take away life is just a question that we should ask about so many things we do, where we put our time and our energies and our thoughts even. That's a really good line to reflect on. I'm gonna probably put that on a post-it and put that right, in a very obvious spot for me to look at regularly. So that's a good line, John.
Also, before I forget it, I'm going to be able to post in the link to the handout, which includes not only a list of questions and the prayer prompts as usual, but also a little bonus page of the Christian smartphone resources where I list the various other resources, which I guess I'll just briefly go over now. The first one is Faith Comes by Hearing. They're a Christian ministry that focuses upon audio Bibles. Their specialty is that they've produced the numerous in-house drama-read audio Bibles where each voice is literally read by a different person. They are, which are available to stream both through the website and the apps, as well as MP3 downloads. I personally recommend downloading the MP3 files, the version of it, because that way you have it forever, as compared to any app, especially that's streaming based, or a website can potentially go down forever at any moment. The one heads up that I give everyone on that there was that the default English Bible is both with the streaming and the MP3 downloads, or the ESV drama of the Bible, which if it is important, to you, you may want to avoid it because the ESV is viewed as many people as having an anti-LGBTQ and an anti-women bias. So for that reason, I have recommend downloading the NRSV drama audio Bible instead of the ESV. What's a long political the fight over Bible translations? The NRSV Bible came first, but then first it was done by a very gifted range of scholars throughout all Christian backgrounds, coupled with various Jewish rabbis and Hebrew scholars for the Old Testament. Just some of the people in a certain section of the American church thought it was way too progressive, so they felt the need to redo the translation, but they only let, as they put it, sufficiently conservative Christians to be trusted on the translation of the committee. So it's a more biased theological translation instead of a balance like the NRSV. The other app there is the Insight Timer. That's more of a meditation app, but it also includes various Christian the material with guided prayers and then the meditations. It's free. It is important to use the search feature with it because it includes the material from all spiritual the traditions and even a secular meditations, some of which have value, just like have value. But if you're looking for the Christian aid there, if you'd want to, or the prayer aids there, if you'd want to make sure it's from a Christian teacher, because you'll find teachers and from every faith of the tradition on that. The next one is the Guardian Bible Software's Pocket Bible. This is the only paid Bible app that I can recommend in a good faith because they have a strong, fairly of the unique buy it once, own it forever policy, and they literally, and they're committed to when new platforms come out, that they make new Pocket Bible reader apps for it, and they let you download the Bibles that you previously bought there and any new formats when they came out. And that literally I still have access to and I can use the electronic Bibles that I bought when I was in college for the Palm Pilot of the Windows Phone. I currently have it running both for my Android smartphone and the Windows version on my PC. And if I was to switch to an iPhone, I'd be covered for that. The final one is the YouVersion Bible. That's a Bible app there, completely free, that's put out by a church there. If it has both an app and a website, they do make you sign up and create an account there, and it includes the Bible text, audio Bibles for some translations, reading plans, and the optional social media features that allow you to connect with other users of the app there. But it's very easy to opt out of the YouVersion social media of the features, because if you don't want to use them and you want to keep it private, just don't connect with any people through the friend request features on it. I will note that the YouVersion includes the text-based NRSV Bible, but not an audio Bible, which sort of balances out. The faith comes from Healing app there because they were granted the permission to use to make the audio Bible and the offer it of the NRSV, but they would have had to have paid extra money to offer it as a text, so they chose to offer it as audio only. The other one that's not listed, but in the rare chance that you want it. I personally use interlinear Greek and Hebrew Bible that I have on my phone that allows me to look into the original Greek and Hebrew of the Bible's text. I realize even if you don't know Greek and Hebrew, you might be curious about that. If anyone wants that, either comment on the video link or to email me. I will note there that that one, unfortunately, is only available on Android. I'm not sure if there's a equivalent iPhone version or not. I've never owned an Apple product, so I'm not the right person to talk to about that.
Wow, thanks for doing all that research for us. That's awesome.
Actually,
Oh.
most of it there, if they were just things that I use, I use all of them except for the U version, which I downloaded when I was trying to find a free NRSV text-based Bible app to be able to recommend of people. And every app on the list of the ones that I just went through is available at the very least for both Android and iPhones.
That's great. Well, even though it wasn't, I mean, you were doing the research for yourself and found what worked for you. So I'm sure that's very helpful to the rest of us. So that's great.
Yes, it was,
Yeah.
and if I actually I'm going to offer this as a different just the Bible Christian smartphone of the Bible resources. I plan on just sending this to the pastor Dale and the church office and just basically tell them they'll if you want to feel free to share this with the
Mhm.
entire church through the newsletter as a gift from the Christian education.
Awesome. That is a nice gift. Very nice. Good. Well, I like that a lot. I think I look forward to looking at some of those apps, especially the audio. I think I've told you I listen to a number of audiobooks in the car and, when I walk on the treadmill and things like that. So that is that those are going to be good to look up. But, awesome. Thank you, John.